Okay.
The Tainted Love Network presents It's Getting Drafty in Here with Magnificent Stan, a show about nothing.
Well, what's the show about? About nothing.
With special guests.
We're on the clock.
Then when are we sending in the ticket? I already sent the ticket.
Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of It's Getting Drafty in Here, brought to you by the Tainted Glove Network. I'm your host and draft master, Brian Magnificent Stan Schmeranzer. I'm happy to start tonight's show off by announcing that we've made it past pilot season and we're on to episode 2. I'd like to take a moment to thank everyone that's listened to the first episode. Special thanks to those that have reached out with their suggestions and comments. Please keep them coming. I've already have 3 episodes lined up from people who have actually suggested topics that we draft. So I feel like the more input we get, those people will be more, excited to draft with us, and it'll end up being a really good show. So today is Thursday, November 17th. What better topic to draft than the food that we'll all enjoy next week on Thanksgiving? So I'd like to bring in our guests here. First of all, we have our my buddy Roxy here. She's a Chicago Bulls insider for All Sports Scene. She happens to be one of my favorite people to catch a Sox game with. And she just happens to be my favorite ballpark beer muse. So, Roxy, how you doing today?
Good. Don't tell Luke, by the way.
Oh, man. Luke will stab me.
Everything's good over here. Just trying to adapt to the cold. I feel like every year it just smacks me in the face.
Yeah.
I'm just not prepared.
Right on. Well, hopefully talking about some food will warm you up. Let's bring in our other guest. Our other guest is a host of Pinwheels and Ivy, which is a baseball podcast, all things Chicago. Happens to be one of my favorite baseball podcasts. What's going on, Zo?
Oh, you flatter us. Nothing, man. I am very excited and honored to be here. Thanksgiving being my A1 holiday. I absolutely love Thanksgiving because you don't have to give gifts and you don't have to fake like you like gifts that people are giving you. So, and all you do is eat, drink, and watch football. And it's
a perfect holiday.
Yeah, I'm all about it.
Obligations are low. When I started lining up this episode, you were the first person I thought of because I see you fighting people over the whole Christmas Thanksgiving thing. So got to have that guy running up front with us here.
Oh, I appreciate it.
So let's actually we'll just dive right in, get started here. Zo actually got the first pick in our draft here. What do you got for us, man? What are we eating?
So I'm going to go with, I did put a lot of thought into this, actually. I know people that listen to Pinwheels and Ivy are like, bullshit, you always just wing everything. No, I actually thought about this on like a Pinwheels episode.
I'm honored of the preparation.
Yes. And so I'm going with not only like the super utility player of Thanksgiving, because you can use it with everything that's going to be drafted tonight, but it's just like the GOAT right out of the gate. And I'd be remiss if I didn't take it number 1 overall. We're going mashed potatoes.
Right on.
When you make your plate, I don't know about how you guys do it, but when I make my plate, the first thing that goes down is it goes plate, complete layer of mashed potatoes, and then everything goes on top. So you get a little bit of mashed potatoes in every scoop. So mashed potatoes, OG, number 1, GOAT. That's my pick.
Perfect. I mean, obviously you're thinking the obvious number 1 pick. I like that you kind of veered away from it a little bit. When you guys make mashed potatoes, eat mashed potatoes, is there anything specific, anything special you put in them?
I'm a former very large dude, now just a large dude, and it's just give me the butter, the salt, and the pepper.
Right on.
Don't like it completely smooh. Got to still have a little
chunk to it.
Little chunk to it, just to know that you're not just eating like gribble. But I love mashed potatoes, man. And that's.
So my grandma, who was from Austria, they liked everything a little chunkier. So like I loved it whenever we went over. We would always go over there on Thanksgiving, and my grandma would always make the mashed potatoes. And it was the only time of the year where I got it, where they were like super, like almost like there was no mash to it. It's almost like soft just potato chunks.
I can mess with that.
Yeah.
I would.
You-
Yeah, I'd like
Right.
it.
Right on, right on. I like to put when I make it. I like to put a little bit of sour cream in it, but other than that, it's
Mhm.
pretty straightforward as well.
I guess I should preference every pick I make. You can just in your head, I'm putting hot sauce on. I put hot sauce on everything. So I like to put hot sauce, but you can overdo it. If your mashed potatoes turn bright red, like Bull's color red,
Yeah.
then you've overdone the hot sauce. You've
Okay.
overdone the hot sauce. Yeah, dealer's choice on Thanksgiving. I mean, I'll just roll. It's usually
Whatever's
just
around.
whatever's there. But yeah, because I go 2 Thanksgivings every year. I got the Polish Thanksgiving, Zawaski, and
Mhm.
then my wife's family is more of it's my brother-in-law's wife, so my sister-in-law, who is from Cuba. So there's a Cuban influence to that Thanksgiving, and so you'll see that in some of my later round picks. But there's 2 different hot sauces at those parties. I'll tell you that right now. But yeah, just I need a little heat to everything.
You ever take leftover mashed potatoes, make them into patties, and fry them up?
Yes.
That's
Yeah, dude, it's
bonkers.
potato pancakes, man. Come on,
Bonkers.
man. I'm a Polak, dude.
Right.
Potato pancakes. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Those things are fed to you in the hospital when you're born. Yeah.
I'm doing mashed potatoes as my contribution for Friendsgiving, and so I'm trying my coworker's recipe. He puts cream cheese in his.
It's
Ooh.
good. I've had it.
Obviously, yeah, it doesn't seem like too revolutionary, but the only difference that he said to do was to do the act like boil the garlic cloves in with the potatoes and
Okay.
just have it all boiled
Interesting.
together, I guess.
I
Yeah.
can mess with that.
And then you just depending on the consistency, you just when you're mashing it, you just
I will need a
But
full report on that
absolutely. But and
because
then I'm
that
gonna
sounds
use an actual like potato racer this time instead of doing like the hand mixer. We'll see how that goes. I've heard it's like it pulls in moisture better, so we'll see. These might be the greatest potatoes of my life, so I'm very excited about that.
Right on.
But also, Zoe completely stole my first pick, so now I have
What?
to reevaluate.
That makes me feel good about
Well-
it even better.
Let's just put you on the spot now. What do we got?
Do it. Okay, so in looking at my list, I might get some hate for this, but I'm very confident. Mine is stuffing, but stovetop specifically.
Perfect.
That's fair.
I just think that like when you go into the gathering and somebody says they're doing dressing, then to me obviously that's like your homemade stuff. And
Mhm.
to me there just is this level of like you're hand making everything else. Like stuff there stovetop stuffing to me is just convincing enough to be almost like a dressing, but not like you're not gonna do like bagged mashed potatoes for your Thanksgiving. I mean, you can't, in my opinion, really doll those up to convince people
No.
that you've made those yourself. But stovetop, even if you just add some of your own spices and maybe add like one ingredient of your own, I mean, you're not playing it off at stovetop. It is what it is. But like if you do God forbid, I feel like you could doll that up a little bit, people.
It's funny with stovetop too. There's something in there that's just so unique to the other store bought. Like if you go to Aldi or you go to the other stores to get that like the Pepperidge Farm one or whatever. Um, it just seems like stovetop always has something in it that just kind of jives well with everything.
I agree. There's really no substitution. Like when you eat like they say the store bought when you're eating store bought, you can absolutely tell.
That's what
I feel like if you grew up in like the late 70s or the 80s or the 90s or whatever, like you ate stovetop. I mean, if you were whatever level of middle to low, whatever class you ate stovetop. And
Mhm.
now as adults, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna mess with stovetop. Give me stovetop. I'm sure you'll catch heat for going the name brand, but I fully support this pick.
And I've been seeing it, like I'm sure it's not like a TikTok unique thing, but like this video on TikTok where it's like a crock pot recipe. It's kind of like Thanksgiving all in one, like or not necessarily, but inspired because you're doing like your first layer is just your chicken thighs seasoned however you'd like, and then you do 2 boxes of the stovetop, and then you do like cream of mushroom soup, sour cream, chicken broth, salt and pepper, and then you just like put that on high for like 6 8 hours, and then you mix it all together.
That
And
sounds
then
phenomenal.
I
Yeah.
know I'm gonna probably try that tomorrow night.
So I already
I'll
talked.
report back on that too.
Mhm.
I already talked to Roxy on the side about this the other day. But what we're making for Thanksgiving this year, our contribution to the family is we're gonna do White Castle stuffing.
That I've had that.
Is it good?
It's phenomenal.
Okay, awesome.
I was a big fan of it.
I'm gonna make 2 of them because my wife's a vegetarian, and they have Beyond Meat sliders now.
So inclusive.
So we're gonna do that.
It's. I will not be eating those. But
Does she like them? Has she had them before?
I mean, I know she likes Beyond Meat stuff, so I don't see why she wouldn't like it, but you know.
Fair.
But okay, you guys got me on the spot here. You actually took my 1 and 2. I'm gonna go, and I know you mentioned it being the ultimate utility. I disagree that it's the ultimate utility.
Oh.
I'm gonna go with something a little off the path here. I am picking the thing that goes on everything. I'm going gravy.
Fair enough.
I love it.
Because you're absolutely right.
You can put it on everything. You can put it on the mashed potatoes. You can put it on the stuffing. You can put it on the turkey. You can put it on. I mean, you're not gonna put it on ham. That's freaking disgusting. But really,
I
put it on everything too.
I mean, my Thanksgiving plate, everything's touching. Everything's marrying each other. There's no.
Did you have someone in the family growing up that the foods couldn't touch?
My uncle actually does. His foods don't touch, and he eats everything a bite at a time. Like each individual section of food a bite at a time. So like nothing ends.
So like one, and all the way around.
And so
that's some special crazy.
I know. If something ends first, it's because it's the last available bite. And so like he has one bite of everything left. And he just kind of like goes there. I have no idea where it comes from, but I noticed it one time and now I like forget about it.
That's 100% obsessive compulsive disorder.
I don't know the hard to tell him.
Yeah.
I have my brother refuse, like if his food's touched, he would cry and run out of the room.
Oh no, I love that.
And my wife actually is like that too, but don't tell her I mentioned that. She doesn't watch my show. No, I'm kidding. She totally watches. I'm just fucking around. But yeah, gravy. I mean, you can. There's a million different types of gravy. I actually one year made sausage gravy and put it on the mashed potatoes, and it was kind of evil. I like I'm eating this and I'm going, oh man, I'm fucking fat.
But that sounds amazing.
It is, and it was pretty damn
good. You're gonna
good.
feel that way. It should at least be with something.
Yep, 100%.
But I went to one of my ex-boyfriends. He was Italian, or I mean, he definitely still is. But like we went to the first Thanksgiving that where I was meeting like more of his extended family, and I was like, hey, is there any just kind of like staple things that you guys like to have? And he's like, yeah, we've got, this. And then he's like, we always have a bunch of gravy. And I'm like, bet. I absolutely love gravy. I'm going to put that shit on everything.
Oh, no.
It was just fucking red sauce.
Yeah, I know exactly what. Oh, no.
Absolutely fine. 364 other days of the year. But I was looking forward to that brown gravy to just be able to drizzle everything. And it was red gravy. And that I won't put on ham. I mean, I tried. But like, I don't think some of the ants liked me because I was like not quiet in my disdain, even though I definitely should not have been that upset about it, but it's very unexpected, so I wasn't prepared.
Right on. That's hilarious. Okay, I'm gonna go with the next pick here because I got the back to back here. I'm gonna go with another one that's a little off the path. This is something that I make every year. It's always my contribution to the family. I'm not doing it this year, but pretty much every year before. I always make a cream corn casserole.
I just heard about this. So
you mix.
No clue this was a thing.
Yeah, it's really good. You mix regular corn, so like regular whole kernel corn, can of cream corn, sour cream, butter, and then you get like the Jiffy cornbread mix. And you just mix it up and bake it. Sometimes I'll augment it with I know my sister likes to put like green onion in it and some like I think she put jalapeno in it one year. I put cheese on top sometimes. But it's phenomenal. I think I love corn in general. I love corn.
I was gonna say that's going in my head nonstop every
Yeah,
time you say
right.
corn. Yes.
And yeah, I mean it's a bonkers thing and bonkers side. It adds to everything. I think one year we didn't do stuffing and that turned into like what the stuffing was. Like everybody and it comes out like it's almost like the inside almost has like a pudding texture a little bit because it's got cream
Mm.
corn in it.
Oh yeah.
And then it's very good. You should definitely try it. It's like that's why I make it because it's the easiest thing to make. So yeah.
All right. So for mine, I had my list set up based off how I was feeling hunger wise earlier at the time. So now that I've eaten and kind of settled down a little bit,
Yep.
I'm changing mine. And maybe this is a surprise pick, but I don't think so. I'm going with the dinner roll next. I think it's a very versatile pick. You can suddenly make a little sandwich out of it. You can sop up all the gravy. I think it's kind of a staple. I think because then you can have like all of the items collapse next to you, but then you can still have a little sandwich next to it, and it's almost like a bougie deconstructed plate.
I just love that we're all going sides. That's the
Mhm.
best. It's the best. Yeah, I love rolls. I also like having like my grandparents used to go to like really fancy bakery and get like French bread to have with the meal. Like I think that always I mean I hope nobody picks that obviously now, but you know, just in that ilk that, similar type of thing. What type of rolls do you typically roll with?
So I do not have like a preference because if it's bread, I'm going to eat it. I do sometimes if we're going like ham, because just for the masses that'll watch this, we were a ham family.
Mhm.
We were not.
You're a Hamley. You were from a Hamley.
We were no turkey, so we would do the King's Hawaiian rolls.
Perfect. Yep.
But really no preference. If it's in like a roll shape and it looks like bread and smells like bread, I'm
Sweet.
So to the day I leave this chapter of life and go up or down or wherever I end up, I will say that I will judge a restaurant, I will judge a Thanksgiving, I will judge every meal by the quality of the bread that is served with it. You have to have good bread. Like if you open
Absolutely.
a sandwich shop and it's like you make shitty sandwiches, but your bread is on point, I'll come back. I'll give you a second chance. The bread makes everything for me. Dinner rolls are clutch, especially because one of the best things about Thanksgiving is making the sandwiches either later that night or the next morning. And what do you always make those on? The leftover dinner rolls.
Leftover rolls. Yep.
So, and the fact that dinner rolls is like a better Larry Garcia because they literally just cover everything. They play everything, and they're super utility guys.
It's a Jerkson Profar of.
There you go.
There you
That's
go.
a way better comparison. I didn't mean to disrespect dinner rolls like that. So this one's going to be where I start getting a little bit Zawoski specific, I guess. Because round 2, pick 6 overall, I'm going Polish sausage.
Yep.
So obviously we have Polish sausage at every holiday, but this is going to be extremely niche to me. But my aunt, who thankfully has now passed the methodology down to some of the younger people, so I know it will continue for years and years and years and years, but she makes the Polish sausage where when you take a bite out of it, it like completely disintegrates in your mouth. Like it's just like it's so good. It's so like juicy, and she cooks it in she cooks one side of the pan in sauerkraut and one side of the pan in onions to appease the masses, so you can pick which lane you're going to go in.
Yeah, that flavor just soaks in. That's awesome.
And it just soaks in.
Oh.
She puts a ton of beer in there too, and it takes a good day and a half to cook how she cooks it. And if you're lucky enough and she likes you, or you're just really good at talking and a huge brown noser like myself, you get the call before Thanksgiving to be a Polish sausage tester, which, yes, that does sound like a porn, but still, yeah, it's the Polish sausage for me. Gotta have it every Thanksgiving. Absolute clutch. And to go off at the dinner rolls, usually with me, when we're watching the second half of the second football game and you're all stuffed and now you're starting to get after the drinking a little bit, I go and grab a dinner roll and I cut a Polish sausage fat long ways and throw it there with a piece of cheese on top of it. And I sit down and I have myself a little time. That's Zo time right there. That's no one's talking to me at that time. I'm watching that football game. I'm eating that Polish sausage on a dinner roll and it's fantastic.
We did that too. My mom is Polish. My dad's from Austria, but my mom is Polish. So we used to all holidays we had Polish sausage. Grew up in the northwest suburbs, and there's a deli like right down the street from our house called Kalinowski.
Mhm.
And every year they'd send me because they don't want to wait. I would have to wait at Kalinowski for probably 2 hours usually. Get into some fights with people for trying to push me around. Always get the smoked, always get the fresh, and go. That's what we always did. Almost every holiday meal included Polish sausage. It was more of a main event around Easter for us, but yeah, we definitely went that route as well.
And then I was just gonna do another Polish specific one on my flip pick, but I feel like I can hold off on it because I don't think you guys are gonna snag it. So I'm gonna wait. And then so for my first pick of round 3, look at this strategy going on right now. I'm gonna go cheesy broccoli. Cheesy broccoli, it's another staple in the Zwoski household where I mean it's not like like it's cooked broccoli with the cheese on top and you got a little soupy in there or whatever, but you put it right next to your mashed potatoes, you got a little one scoop, you got yourself a little heaven on a fork. And yeah, I'm all cheesy broccoli on
Make it from
Thanksgiving.
scratch, or is it like a
Everything in the Zwoski household is from scratch. I'm very, very lucky to have an Aunt Jo, shout out. She is a fucking angel. And she cooks for, I have a gigantic family, dude. I got 50 something first cousins that all live on the South Side alone. And she cooks for everyone. Like when they redid her kitchen, she redid it so it can be like buffet style. Like she has like a serving top because she hosts everything. And she cooks and it's amazing and it's all from scratch. And she's done it every year I've been alive. And the cheesy broccoli is usually it's like second or third thing on my plate every year. I'm already picturing like my plate assemblance.
I'm like
Yes.
tasting it right now.
Yeah,
honestly, I would love to have some right now.
Very hungry right now doing this. Roxy, you were smart to eat before we did this because I am very hungry right now.
Now, see, I'm just intimidated because like our Thanksgiving is like 5 people. Like my family's super small. We cook as if there's more than that.
Yeah,
because you're definitely cooking for you and future you.
Mm-hmm.
But still, that's incredible. And then going back to like the real quick, we can jump back the Polish sausage stuff. It's just funny when like your secret spots. There's a church out by my grandma's house. My grandma lived before she passed away in Glendale Heights, and there's a church right on. It's on like I haven't been out there in so long. I don't even remember. But it you go in the back, so they have like the little like office areas in the back. You just go up there and the Polish women turn around. They don't speak English. I don't speak Polish. You just hold your hand up with how many like pierogies you want. And you just see the best pierogies. You just get this delicious bag of just the best pierogies you've ever had. But it's just, you just hold your hand up and that's how many you get. And I feel like that's the clutch stuff. It's not, that shit you're getting at the Jewels.
Yeah, the underground network of Polish goodness.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, our Thanksgiving is, I usually refer to it as the wedding scene in Goodfellas. When she's like, how many
Peters and Pauls are there?
Yeah, I met 52 Marias. Yeah, it's anytime a little, well, now I'm almost 40, so I'd say a little cousin or one of my cousin's kids brings it's a big deal if you bring your significant other for the first time to the Thanksgiving, and they get put through the ringer and everyone says the same joke. Like, like if I keep her away from this dude, I'll be okay. This guy's probably gonna have a couple drinks and say something really bad that I don't want her to hear, so I gotta maneuver her this way. You spend an hour in the basement with the little kids watching cartoons and shit just to be safe. And then you come back up and you're like, all right, we got to bounce. We got to go to her side when really you're just going to the bar, but still you just want to get the fuck out of there. So yeah, that's, if you need a picture of how it looks looks like the wedding scene from Goodfellas.
I'm already like overwhelmed, and I'm hearing about it. Like, all
Just
right,
on the outside and overwhelmed.
I've got like too many now because now I just am thinking about what I would like, even though I'm full, like what I would want to eat right now.
Mhm.
But I'm gonna go mac and cheese.
Yes.
Just continuing with the cheesy trend.
Alrighty.
I think that because not even just because of the mac and cheese that I've had, but every household that you go to, at least for me, like there's usually mac and cheese, but everyone makes it like just a little different.
Yes.
You're not getting
absolutely.
like there's and like and what I think is cool about it is that there's really only like your staples that you need in there. But then everybody finds a way to kind of like make it their own unique recipe, and just usually the cheese just is gooing over, as weird as that sounds, into like the mashed potatoes, and it's all just marrying each other.
That's awesome. My sister and her husband always ask, like almost every holiday, like, can we have a mac and cheese cook off? Like everybody make a different type. We've never done it, but she challenges us every time and we never do it, but sounds like a good idea. I've never really made homemade more than a couple of times, but the couple of times I did, I put like an obscene amount of like Velveeta in it, and it got just out of control. I could hear myself like dying of heart disease as I'm eating it.
It's pretty hard to screw up mac and cheese, man.
It is. It's impossible.
It's literally cheese and noodles, dude. I mean, you can make it better, but to screw it up, that you're
Takes
trying.
a special person.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're this is sabotage now. Yes.
Anything special? Anything specific that that you guys, when you guys make it, that you put anything out of the norm?
I like a crust on top. Like I like a little crunch, like
a panko
breading.
on top?
Yeah, like a panko or breading or something. Usually the Italian breadcrumbs, you bake those into it. Like it's the whole crunch with the cheese and the melt and the heat. Yeah, I like a little crunch, and of course hot sauce. But yeah,
Yep.
Always the hot sauce.
I kind of
right?
just
Always
like when
hot
ours
sauce.
has like white and yellow cheddar, just like a little. They're like some people, they use like all these different kinds, even a little bit of pepper jack in there too, give it a little kick. Just it's for me, it's more the cheeses themselves that people use toppings.
No, like special fusilli or weird noodles.
No, just it all marinates together at the end anyway, so not the time for it to stand out.
Right on. Okay. So now Zoe mentioned Polish items, and I and Roxy already mentioned the item.
Shit.
I make 'em-
shit.
My wife and I make them from scratch.
This was the thing that Zoe said. He's not worried about us either.
My
It totally
grandma
was.
my grandma had the like family recipe, and we used to meet. Now this was more of a Christmas thing, but we'd also make them for Thanksgiving. So I'm going to throw this in there. We would do a family thing for the Christmas holidays to make them as a family. Like all my cousins would come out and we meet at someone's house and cook them. As my grandma got older, she's like, I don't want to do this bullshit anymore. So we started to take it on, and my wife not only learned her recipe for the dough, but also perfected it. So going with pierogies.
Damn it.
It's probably my favorite food.
It is. It's so good.
There's years where we make and we just give like Ziploc bags of frozen ones to everybody.
Mhm.
I think 2 years ago, we made like 400 or 500 of them. Yeah, we're nuts. Now we don't make cabbage ones anymore. That was like grandma's big recipe. Neither of us are big cabbage people. We stick to potato and cheese. And then we started to make spinach and feta ones, and they're absolutely phenomenal. I will literally drive a bag of each over to you guys for the holidays this year.
Bro,
Um,
I will never turn down a pierogi.
Bro,
The spinach feta ones, have you tried like putting any like sun-dried tomatoes in there or anything?
no,
Add a little, or are they just good? I mean, good as is. I figured, but I was just curious.
yeah, no, we kind of stick. It's it becomes like an assembly line situation. So like the more variables you put into it, the more difficult it makes the whole process. So, but yeah, I mean
So
that's good.
at my aunt's house again on the Zawaski side, we literally have a pierogi station. It's a separate table, and there's usually about 4 to 6 different. You got your potato and your cheese,
Yep.
standard.
Mhm.
One that's been making its case to be a stronghold is actually just beef, just a beef pierogi.
That's not bad.
Thought I would hate it. Absolutely love it. You get a little sour cream going with that. It's like a mini taco almost. It's delicious. And then people, I don't think I've ever had the spinach feta ones, but we've had basically you name them, like a meat or something. We've had that type of pierogi. My family actually has a pierogi fest in the middle of the summer where we just go to same aunt's house because she's literally a saint. I don't think I can stress this enough. And just 4 flat top grills, and we just pump out pierogies, and everyone gets drunk outside, and it's a fantastic day because you see pierogies and just drink your face off. But
Wow.
yeah, I love pierogies. And this might be the biggest blunder of the whole draft is me going cheesy broccoli over pierogies.
As soon as you said, I'm gonna go another route, I'm like, oh, I kind of had a feeling. I kind of had a feeling you were gonna go that route too when you said Polish sausage. So I was like, gotta bring my pierogies up. I was gonna go probably round 5 with them, but
The pierogi station at so Riot Fest every year, they have like their food vendors and whatever.
Mhm.
And last year was the post-COVID one. So every place was like card only, don't even give us cash, don't even look at cash. And the pierogi people were like, fuck it, give us your cash. Like, and then they just would pile this container. Like when you would open the container, the pierogies would like pop back up because there's so many in there. And they would just give you like a bucket of sour cream and like a bucket of applesauce. And it was just, you're sitting in an open field and you're just listening to music and you're just eating these pierogies like the world is ending.
That sounds amazing.
And it's incredible.
That sounds absolutely amazing.
It's funny when you get out of Chicago, you don't hear it as much. People talking about pierogi. Well, Chicago, Milwaukee, outside of those two, like people are like, I've heard of those. I've never really had I don't make. It's like pizza. They don't make good ones outside of the Midwest. You know what I mean?
I could not imagine like a St. Louis pierogi.
They probably put Provel cheese in it. Those motherfuckers.
And they cut them weird. Don't they cut everything weird? Like bagels and shit. Like they cut everything weird.
See, I've never had good food in St. Louis ever.
No.
I just get this feeling that if this is the bagel, they instead of cutting it like this way, they cut it in half like this.
That's what they do. They do that.
Yes.
Like
this.
No, they seriously do that.
Do you like dip it then? Like what the?
I don't know if like here I'm gonna Google it. If you Google St. Louis bagel, that's what comes up. I'm dead serious. It's weird. But yeah, I think history will look back at this draft as the time Zo completely.
They cut it like bread.
Yeah, they
literally cut it like bread.
Yeah,
it's like slices.
They cut it weird. I knew they cut it weird.
Like what are those little chip things almost that you can get in like?
It's almost like they make it like a bloomin' onion almost or something like that. That's so freaking.
But like if I go to like a local like coffee joint or whatever, if I'm in St. Louis, I'm probably got hammered the night before because what else do you do in St. Louis? And I order like a coffee and a bagel, and they give me a bagel and it's cut like that. I'm gonna be hot. Yeah, look at that.
Let me. Hot. Oh, there you go.
Like you might as well get fucking toast.
Yes,
that's just toast.
It is rounded out toast.
Oh man, that
is brutal. Actually, I'm actually
like they might as well start getting fucking croutons and just putting.
I've made up a scenario in my head that's gotten me actually angry. Like, yes.
It started with you slipping and picking cheesy broccoli.
Oh, now I'm drafting all out of spite now. I'm playing catch up the rest of this draft now.
As Abraham Simpson once said, it'll be a cold day in hell before I consider Missouri a state.
We tied an onion on our belt because that was style at the time.
All right. I am going to pick here. I'm going with our first dessert. I'm going pumpkin pie.
Fair.
I was gonna say if
very,
it isn't
very
a pie, then
I mean, I feel like pumpkin pie is a pumpkin pie. Okay. I feel like pumpkin pie is that's the best pie in the world.
You know what, buddy? More for you because I'm not eating it.
Really?
Really.
Shit.
like pumpkin pie or just anything pumpkin. Just all pumpkin.
I don't do anything pumpkin. I just the
No.
flavor doesn't hit the palate.
See,
It just yeah.
And we were thinking about trying a dessert pierogi for the first time this year, and we were gonna do a pumpkin one.
Ooh, that actually sounds really good.
So like, would you make the dough pumpkin then, or would you do like pumpkin inside?
I think we'd try a different type of dough, maybe like or like dust it with cinnamon or something. I don't know how
I
we
kind of
do
like
it,
a dough
but
outside and then kind of like a custardy kind of cream filling on the inside.
that's what. Yeah, we would.
I mean,
mix,
that's kind of like a Danish.
but we would mix the actual pumpkin with something to give it more of like a creaminess, because that'll, when you cook it, it'll come out better. Might burn your mouth though, so we might get sued, but hopefully
Worth
not.
it.
Yeah, I would totally be worth it.
Worth it.
Worth it. All right, let's go, Roxy.
Okay, so I have one that I'm just gonna do it. I was gonna wait until the last pick, but I don't know if this counts because it's a little more general, but I think the charcuterie board, like your appetizers, are
I like
clutch
it.
because those are your staple pieces holding it down until your food gets like before you can start plating your food. So like if you're not hitting up the appropriate cheeses, your shrimps, whatever little other snacks you like
Mhm.
that's your pregame. Like you're going like when you're going out, when Thanksgiving is a tailgate. You're doing it all day.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a
So,
damn
like-
marathon.
Yeah, so if I don't pregame with the right thing, I'm not setting myself up for success. I got to have a little bit so that I can just take plates and plates worth of action.
I think that's fair. I think that's a tone setter.
I was doing a little bit of research, just random Thanksgiving facts. I was meaning to throw them out after a couple of rounds, but I just forgot. So maybe after this round we'll do that. The standard Thanksgiving dinner is 4,500 calories.
Ooh, girl.
I don't know. I read that in two different places, and I'm like, how the fuck what are you, The Rock? Like, you ever see like The Rock eats like
Yes.
like 12,000 calories a day? Like, do you have to go weightlift for 9 hours afterwards? Is that? I just
Right?
no wonder. And another fact I read: no wonder every year Black Friday is the busiest day of the year for plumbers. Fun
That
fact.
makes a lot of sense.
Blowing that shitter up like it's nobody's business,
That makes a lot of sense.
Thanksgiving, people are probably ingesting like alone, just thinking about it, like more butter on Thanksgiving than they probably are in the 10 months leading up to it.
If you have a cholesterol or blood pressure problem, man.
I take 2 of my blood pressure pills on Thanksgiving morning, man. You gotta go in prepared.
Come in guns a blazing.
Yep. I still gotta send Rick on a bill for my blood pressure being shitty at 40, but yeah.
Do you guys have like a staple like if you're making your own charcuterie report and you're going, beyond the like meat, cheese, other that shit, like what would you want?
So Mrs. Zo, my wife takes care of that. Actually, that's her thing. She likes doing those.
They're fun. We did one last year. It's a good time actually.
Yeah,
kind of picking everything out.
I've stopped asking what things are. She just now classifies things as meat, cheese, or cracker to me. Like, oh, what's that purple? She's like, cheese. It's like goat something cheese, whatever. She just says cheese. I'm good with just cheese. I just start making combos of things. But I will say, as the charcuterie, I totally nailed it that time too. Good for me. I can't say words, but as that industry is like taken off, like those things, they become more popular, and your phone's got to eat before you do with those things and everything. But she's gotten a lot more creative with stuff and like, whatever. And I don't know what half of the stuff is, but I just know I love all of it. And I think you were absolutely right that a good charcuterie board like sets the tone for the whole Thanksgiving. Because when you're waiting for like the main course and you're sitting there and you're having your first, second beer and you're just like picking at the finger foods or whatever, if it's non-existent or it's bad, that's gonna put a little bit of sour taste in your mouth when you're heading to that main course. So
yeah, you gotta set the tone.
Yes, set the tone big time.
100%.
That you can't overlook the pre main course food there, like the apps or whatever.
When in doubt, just pregame.
Yes,
seems to be the appropriate stance. But I like those little pickles. I feel weird saying pickle and they're going like this, but they're like the like ones and you can dip them in mustard and shit. I don't know if you guys have been to like Fogo de Chao and done their salad bar.
Mm-hmm.
They have those over there. Damn, shit's good. That's like a charcuterie board on.
I'm that guy that just keeps grabbing crackers and salami like over and over again.
Yeah,
just
like,
that guy.
Like double stack like a Lunchable.
Right. That's exactly what it is.
Yes, 100%. And you always have to you have to do like cheese on the top, salami, then cracker. Like it has to be in that order for me too. Maybe I am a little OCD.
Yeah, I was about to say you got. Do your foods touch?
They do, but I do have an uncle. I'm not related to him, but we call him uncle because he saved my real uncle's life in Vietnam. So he always comes to our Thanksgiving. He talks to his food while he eats it. He'll sit there and be like, "Oh, Mr. Mashed Potato, you're about to get smoked. I'm about to eat you up right now. I'm gonna mix you up here with Mr. Turkey. Oh, here we go, boys." And he does that the whole meal.
That's
he's
phenomenal.
Not doing it like as a performance. He's not doing it to like get like. This is like literally like how he enjoys a big meal. He's a big dude. He's one of the funniest guys you'd ever meet. But like, even as a kid, I remember we would all like everyone just like kind of stops and like looks at him, and he zero shits are given at that day, and he's just going at it, talking all his food, telling him like, "Oh, you're about to meet Mr. Dinner Roll, Mr. Mashed Potato. Here you go, boom, down the hatch." And it's like he's doing a play-by-play of it. So yeah, when
like
you guys
it's like John Madden eating his dinner. That's awesome.
When you guys were talking about like the uncle that doesn't let his food touch, I just thought of Uncle. His name's Tom, so Uncle Tom that just sits there and talks to his food. Because I don't have anybody that doesn't have food touch, but yeah,
that's phenomenal.
Yeah, don't tell Uncle Bob that we talked about him.
Yeah, if you don't mind, let's do this pick, and then I'm gonna read this ridiculous list of nonsense.
I love it. I'm here for a ridiculous list of nonsense. I'm gonna stick with the pie. And this is a very much me thing. Like this is my thing in this massive family. Again, Saint Aunt Joe always knows to get one of these for me out of all these people. She makes sure it's there for me, but it's there for every holiday. French silk pie used to have to be from what was the place called that they shut them all down?
Baker Square.
But for those of you on the southwest side of Chicago or the south side of Chicago, there's a barbecue joint in Tinley Park that used to be next to Baker Square that they actually made an agreement with the dude that ran that Baker Square, and they still sling Baker Square pies out of the back of the barbecue joint.
Wow.
So yeah, I found that out 2 years ago. So we've been eating the French silk pie, but French silk pie, gotta have it. Glass of milk. Don't care how drunk I am or where I'm at in my drinking. I will still at least have a half a glass of milk with it. I usually don't mix milk with booze, but I have to, like, I'm wired that way.
I mean, you can have a white. Why don't you try a White Russian with it sometime?
White Russian is the drink of choice at my wife's family Christmas.
But a white Russian with French silk pie, that'd be fun.
I'm trying it this year, Brian.
There you go.
I will report back.
We might need to have a round 2 of this.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go French silk pie. I have to have it. It is a failed holiday if I do not have French silk pie.
I don't know if we'll have another food episode. I mean, this is a holiday episode, and I've only done 2. This is my second podcast. I think I already jumped a shark here. We're already doing holiday shit. I mean,
hey, you gotta do it,
right?
Trust me, this is like off-season baseball podcasting, dude.
Right? Exactly.
Yep.
My mom. That was my mom's favorite pie. Was French silk pie. We have it at
seems like a cool
every
lady.
holiday. It was the best.
Mm-hmm.
I have a really funny Baker Square story. We were going to get pies for, I think it was Christmas. It could Brandy and I were talking about it last night. I think it was Christmas, but it might have been Thanksgiving. But we're in there and we're waiting in line, and my wife is a little anxious around bigger crowds of people.
Mm-hmm.
So we get in there, and the line is like wrapped around the store, like all the way around.
The entire state of Illinois is in this Baker Square.
And she's she gets a little nervous, and we're standing there, and this crazy lady, they ran out of cherry pies, and she didn't order a cherry pie.
He's my cherry pie.
She just starts screaming, what the fuck? You ain't got no cherry pie. And just starts throwing arms, dude. She's swinging at everybody she can. The Baker Square is so busy that there's police in there. So the police are trying to, in the middle of a fucking Baker Square over a cherry pie, a lady was getting arrested for it. And my wife, the funniest part of the whole story is my wife didn't even notice that it was happening because she's in line and she's anxious. So she's standing there, and I walked out. We were walking out, and I was like, "That was fucking crazy." And she's like, "What was crazy?" Okay, so that was
That probably made it better though.
Yeah.
I can almost imagine that if she knew that was happening, might have made it worse.
Maybe a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so I want you guys to guess how many pounds of turkey is eaten on Thanksgiving every year in the United States.
Jesus. 60,000.
Not even close.
I was gonna say like 7 million.
It's a lot more than that as well.
Oh, geez. Well, you gotta figure what, like an average turkey's like what, 40 pounds?
Average turkey actually is 16 pounds.
Oh.
Okay.
And the United States eats 40 to 60 million turkeys every Thanksgiving. So that comes out to roughly 700 to 800 million pounds of turkey on Thanksgiving.
I don't know why, but that just disgusted me. That's weird. That's so much turkey.
I think it's just more the thought that there's that many turkeys in the country, like just all out and about somewhere.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the fun, if you think about it though, think about how many houses are on your street? 25. How many of them are eating turkey? Probably 15.
Right.
So it adds up, but that's an obscene amount of turkey. Speaking of extra turkey, so Swanson's in 1953, they bought too much frozen turkey. So what they did was they sliced it up and they put it in airline trays. And that's how we got the TV dinner. So because some asshole bought too much turkey one year.
Oh, shit.
That's how we got too much,
I love this shit. I am a fountain of useless facts. Like, you want me on your bar trivia team, so you're just adding to the arsenal right now. And I'm all for it, dude. So
Do you have like a favorite useless fact?
No.
Oh, I had I don't know why, but I usually have friends who are they just spit something out, and it's like their favorite fact to when they meet people, they're like, I want you to know that I
It's just, I'm more just one of
okay.
those where we're sitting at bar trivia and they'll ask a question. I'll be like, oh, it's this. And people are like, how the fuck do you know that? And I honestly don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know where it came from. I don't know. Yeah.
That's kind of me too. People are like, how the fuck do you even know that? Like, I don't even know how I got it.
I don't know how I know that.
No.
That's the thing, is that I don't know.
So more facts. 80% of Americans prefer leftovers to the actual Thanksgiving meal.
True.
All right. I'm not going to argue that one.
The song Jingle Bells was written for Thanksgiving.
That's
weird. So Ben Franklin wanted the turkey to be the national bird and fought for it. Which is weird.
I did know that one.
It's weird, but the weirdest part of it is they asked him why not the eagle, He said that the eagle lacked moral character. So that shady-eyed motherfucking eagle, you know, I don't get
mean,
that
I was
one.
gonna say, when I look at a turkey, I see a very high moral individual. So
What considered one of the smartest human beings in the history of our country, and or at the time, I guess. And he's questioning the character of a fucking bird.
So let's say the bird that did become a bird. What do you think people are eating for Thanksgiving instead? Because arguably we're not eating.
Well,
bird
so
for
the
Thanksgiving.
first Thanksgiving didn't even serve turkey. They had, what was it? It was geese and grouse
Bald
and
eagles.
bald eagle. Yeah, they ate a bunch of bald eagles. But it was, yeah, they didn't even, the turkey thing. I couldn't find the actual, like, when the turkey came in. Most of the first Thanksgiving meal was cranberry based because the Native Americans cooked everything with cranberries and cranberry juice. So
That's cool.
yeah.
Cranberry, not on my list though. Not at all.
no, not a big cranberry guy
sauce,
at
no,
all.
not on there at all.
I'm not picking it, but once a year, I don't mind opening the can of that gelatinous nonsense and just watching it just drop on the plate and then like a little slice of it. And then so Calvin Coolidge. So back in the day of the presidents, people would come to the White House and give gifts. One year for Thanksgiving, a farmer gave instead of a turkey, gave Calvin Coolidge and his wife a raccoon to eat. And his wife loved the raccoon so much that they named it Becky, and it was the White House raccoon.
It was a living raccoon?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. So to eat, like he gave it with the intention that they would eat it?
Yeah. I mean,
But he gave it to him living.
Yeah, I mean, back then, obviously, everybody just kind of cut everything up and eat what, a lot of people lived on farms, a lot of people are poor, so they trap random animals and cook them up.
Have you guys ever had any obscure like my dad one time he cooked dinner for us and he wouldn't tell us what it was, and it was rabbit.
I've had rabbit.
Oh, I've eaten a ton of shit, man. I've eaten a lot of animals. Yeah, I mean, shark's really good. I really, really, really like gator.
Gator's awesome. Gator,
I really, really
fried
like
gator tastes like super awesome shrimp almost.
Yes, I lived in swampland, Central Florida for 5 years at the only bar/restaurant in town. I was the bartender, and our two biggest things we served were just an amazing cheeseburger that would literally probably cure COVID at this point, and fried gator bites. And I probably ate gator bites 4 out of 7 days a week for 3.5 years. I loved them. They dissolved in your mouth. They were so good.
I would put them on the burger.
I probably have at one point. I mean, I got really drunk there a lot, but yeah.
So before we start our last round, I'm going to show you guys a picture and just tell me, would you eat it or not? I think you saw it when we were getting this ready, but I'm going to show it again. Would you eat this or not?
What do we got going on? Is that like
it looks like
a piece of what's that frozen pizza?
DiGiorno.
It looks like a DiGiorno pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we got some cranberries, some corn.
Great.
Yeah. I don't know if I didn't see any
actual
meat.
For the most part, I would probably try it, but again, I'm out on the cranberry, man. I really am not a cranberry guy.
I would eat this over the people who put candy corn.
Out of this whole monstrosity, the one thing that is deterring me from this is the cranberry. But
yeah,
I've seen Roxy literally eat the parfait at the park. I think she would be okay at least trying this, correct?
Yes, I'm comfortable with my foods touching. Why? Yes, absolutely. But the people who have, and I don't know if it's a bit or if people actually do this, but every Halloween that picture circulates of the candy corn that's melted onto pizza, that's where you lose me.
That's fucking absolutely disgusting.
I would try this for sure because it looks like there's stuffing on there. The only thing I would do differently is instead of the cranberries, I would probably want to see if I could do the crust as like, you know how we were talking about frying up the mashed potatoes earlier?
Mhm.
Doing that as like the crust,
Not a bad idea.
fried mashed potatoes.
You know, one thing I forgot to mention when you drafted stuffing earlier, my mom got kind of lazy with making stuffing. She used to make it from scratch, but she got lazy with the actual presentation of it. So she started doing one of two things. She did it like kind of rotated it every year. One year she would put it in muffin tins. So you basically would make stuffing muffins, and like the top would get like crunchy, phenomenal. And then she would also make it in a bundt pan, like a bundt cake pan, and it would be served like a bundt cake on the table. So
I don't think this is lazy. To me, that's just innovative.
no,
Yeah.
it's brilliant. That's the funny part of it.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
she
good
did
with
it out
it.
of like just didn't want to deal with putting in a bird or doing it.
Yeah.
She didn't
No,
feel
I
like
get
it was pretty enough when you put it in like a casserole dish. So she started just doing, you know,
My
little things
mom
like
one
that.
year made like cupcakes, but instead of it actually being a dessert, it was like the cupcakes was like meatloaf, and then it was the frosting was whipped cream, or not whipped cream, mashed potatoes. That was pretty good. It was like a
Mm.
meatloaf cupcake with mashed potatoes. That was pretty solid. Right there.
Right on.
All right, so last one.
So I think it's awesome actually that we've made it this far in a Thanksgiving food draft and no one has said turkey. And I'm not saying turkey, but what I am saying
I love it.
is the leftover turkey sandwiches later that day. Still Thanksgiving Day, but later that day, leftover turkey sandwiches. Again, you either put it on the dinner roll or on a piece of toast with some mayo. If you're lucky, there's still some gravy. You put a little gravy in there too, and of course, hot sauce. But that leftover same day turkey sandwich, it just hits different. It does.
Yep.
It tastes nothing like the turkey you had 4 hours ago. It's the same turkey. It just does. It tastes nothing like it. It hits different. Probably because I'm about 12 bush lights deep by then. But still, it's like it's amazing. It's better than any like ZQuil or NyQuil or Trazodone, any sleeping medical pill. This will knock your ass out, and it's amazing. I love it. I'm glad it was still around in round 5. But yeah, the leftover same day turkey sandwich for the win. Still mad I fucked up pierogi.
So turkey, I'm actually not a huge fan of turkey, but I do like the sandwich. I was a real picky eater growing up. My mom would just make me. I was like the hot dog kid, you know, growing up, and she would make me a ham every year. So Roxy mentioned, you know, her hamily meal. That that was my standard. So turkey. My mom always made a turkey, but I never had it unless it was a sandwich later on. So that's a phenomenal pick, and I didn't even think about that when I thought about turkey. So good good job there, bud.
I had to try to redeem myself.
Like you did.
Thank you.
All right, so mine is the last one just because it's something that like I won't be able to have anymore, but like, or I guess without doing it myself, which is boring. But we always had stuffed shells at our Thanksgiving, and I think it's important to incorporate as many carbs as humanly possible when it comes to Thanksgiving. But there is something about like having a little bit of pasta. Just I can eat pasta any time of the day.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then there's something to like the cheese that obviously they put in there that just kind of marinates really well in with like everything that every other thing that you've put on your plate. And so I think that's like when I'm making a sandwich, the stuffed shells is like the side. So I've got like my Thanksgiving sandwich with a side of stuffed shells. So that's gonna be my last pick. That had my aunt would always make them. That was like her contribution, except for a couple years. Not to make this like dark, but my aunt got into like an accident, and so when she couldn't taste or smell anything for a little while, And so she was cooking these stuffed shells and didn't know like how they tasted. And so we like the taste test was at Thanksgiving. Like there wasn't any briefing beforehand of like, hey, can you try this and make sure it tastes good? Like before I cook it for Thanksgiving, no, what she brought, that was what it was. And so some years it was literally just eating like wet noodles with some cheese, but they were made with love and care, and that's what counts.
It
All
does.
matters.
It
It's all
does.
matters. Yep.
Good stuff.
Right on. I forgot to put it on the board here. Yeah, my and I mentioned my wife was a vegetarian, and that was like one of those staples for like family dinner when people are making, everybody just makes meat. It took a while for everybody in my family to get adjusted to Brandy not eating meat. So she would actually make stuffed shells was like a standard. I never even had stuffed shells until I met her, and
Man.
yeah, it was weird, but I love them. So it's a good one. Last pick, I'm actually still kind of contemplating. I have my little list here. We never mentioned sweet potatoes. So I'm gonna go sweet potato casserole.
Mhm.
Cool.
With or without marshmallows, I never really cared that much.
Do like the marshmallows.
The thing
I
I
do like the
love
marshmallows.
is one year my mom started to put a crust on top that was made of like brown sugar and pecans. And that really just that was
crunch in there.
Yep, that was what
That's nice.
actually brought it to that like level where I'm like, holy shit, this is amazing. So
Mhm.
that was always a pretty standard staple for
Sweet.
all holidays for us.
Sweet potatoes is definitely one of those foods that, as a ute, I just did not like sweet potatoes, but now I'm all about sweet potatoes. Sweet
I
potato
love 'em.
fries, sweet potato casserole. Yeah, like but like 16-year-old me, if you put sweet potato fries in front of me, it's get that corn out of my face. Like I'm slamming it to the ground, just not having any of that. But now I actually like order them when I go to places. Like I really like them. Can I make a proposal here? Can we do like a just miss the cut section?
I
of the
was just
show?
gonna say,
Absolutely.
yeah, I was just
did,
gonna ask.
I did that with the Sports Goats one with the first episode. So yeah, I would like to have a. That's why when I make a list, I always add like 15 picks. I made a list of like 22 items. So
All right. I mean, if you guys want, well, Brian, it's your show. How do you want to do it?
sure, if you guys want to just shoot them out, I'm not. We don't have to have any like formality to it. Like
Yeah, go for it, Zo.
Number one with a bullet is tamales. Now, this is the other side. Obviously, the Polacks aren't making tamales, but so that she makes mean ass tamales, but two. And for those of you that live on the South Side, know exactly who I'm talking about. So the night before Thanksgiving is like a notorious amateur drinking night out. Like everybody knows it.
Blackout
like some
Wednesday.
people call it Blackout Wednesday. Yeah.
Mhm.
Like for us experienced folk, we don't go to a bar, but we usually end up at a friend's house or on the South Side, mainly a garage or a car hole if you're not fancy. And you drink your face off. But usually on Blackout Wednesday night, that's big business night for the tamale guy. And I am usually very drunk. And I usually throw that dude like $40 and I walk out of the bar and wake up the next day with some awesome tamales. So I've always associated tamales with Thanksgiving because I wake up hungover and I eat the tamales from the tamale guy on Thanksgiving, and then I go play football and usually puke. But yes, tamales, and then Christmas they make like really nice tamales. That's like a staple. But tamale guy tamales, always green. Got to get the green ones. And yeah, tamales. It's a Thanksgiving thing for me. I love it.
I didn't even know that was an actual like staple. I know Aldo mentioned it on your show last night.
Yeah.
And then I mentioned it at work. My office is kind of like a sounding board for items. Like they help me with the list sometimes, or did with this one at least. And one of the young lady that runs our Windows division, named Kat, she was like, shout out to Kat. I'm sure she'll listen. She mentioned tamales, and I was like, "Oh, you're the second person in 2 days to mention that." And she goes, "Oh yeah, it's a normal item for Thanksgiving." And then she said, after Thanksgiving, then we eat it every day still. Like it's like one of those like, it's cold out, I'm eating fucking tamales. Like
Mhm.
that's like I actually never knew. I love tamales, and I never even knew that.
Mhm.
Well, now mine's boring. Mine was just cornbread because I think
Cornbread's
Oh,
great.
nothing boring about cornbread. Cornbread
Has
is
a place.
delicious.
preferably on my plate.
Mhm.
And that was going to be my pick. No sentimental reason for it. Just I like it on my plate.
Yep.
And yeah. How about you, Brian?
So I had here. I'll just kind of like shoot out a few that I had here. Unless you guys have any other ideas that you
No,
had.
my
No,
list is
fire away.
Oh,
Go for it.
okay. Ham. Obviously, we talked about that already.
Yes, absolutely.
So fucking Pillsbury crescent rolls.
Oh, absolutely.
I almost picked it. I almost put it with that last one, but I was like, we gotta talk about sweet potatoes for a minute.
Very fair.
Honestly, the other, I mentioned gravy in my first round as a utility. Butter.
Okay. What
Yeah,
kind of butter though?
So again,
Like
I'm gonna go.
or Kerrygold or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good one. But I'm gonna go back to my story earlier about the French bread my grandma would buy, and bring. She got some kind of butter, and I don't know what the hell she did to it, but every time I ate it, it was like crack. But I mean, butter in general is just crack.
I mean,
so
yeah.
That's
without butter, everything would taste worse.
Yes.
Yep. And then I had apple pie. Apple pie was a pretty normal holiday,
Mhm.
dessert.
I was gonna say I like the green beans with like the soupy green beans with
Green bean casserole, yep.
Yeah, like it's a cast. Yeah, what do you call it? The
It's
hard
with
things.
cream of mushroom soup, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
but then and then the
With
little
the little French onion strip things.
French onion
Yeah,
strip.
yeah,
There you
that's
go.
what
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, those are good. That was on my list too.
That's a good one. My wife's side makes meatballs, and they're meatballs where they take like the string cheese.
Yep.
They chop up a string cheese and they put it in the middle of the meatball when it cooks, so that when you eat the meatball, you get the gooey cheese.
Meatball bomb.
Those are amazing.
Yep.
I will. Yes, and then obviously, I was gonna say this to be like, oh, he's the funny guy that goes, but it was a food draft, and I respect the sanctity of the draft, so I did not say it. But of course, Busch Light.
My grandma was a Coors Light gal through and through. The mountains weren't blue.
I could hang out with grandma because I'm with her. You gotta, but I'm a Busch Light guy. I usually have to bring my own, but yeah, it's just it's a good beer holiday. I don't really get into liquor too much. I mean, my cousins will usually take a shot of Jameson just to like kickstart the night. We're a big Jameson family, but yeah, it's a great beer holiday. It's another reason why it's awesome. It's just a phenomenal holiday.
So we went to a wedding where Busch Light was the primary beer choice.
Well, they're going to be married for the next 80 years because that's a good couple.
But it was Busch Light, Miller Light, and White Claw. No liquor, which is fine. It's free. I don't care. I will drink whatever. But it was the people that worked the wedding were like, this is the first wedding we've ever had where like they didn't ask. And they ran out of Busch Light by the ceremony.
Oh,
it goes down so easy. I mean, you could just suck them down all day.
That sounds like my kind of party. And I think that's actually a pretty. I don't want to completely derive this, but that's a pretty solid strategy for a wedding, though, because usually the stupid shit that happens at wedding, the root of it is liquor. Like, if everyone's just all beer drunk, it's probably going to be a more fun wedding. That's a pretty good idea. I actually really like that.
Brian, did you have any more on your list?
No, that's pretty much all I had. All I had.
If this ever wants to be an actual Thanksgiving where it's literally just sides, but there still has to be a turkey so that we can get the leftover same day turkey.
Yes.
Find me there.
Yeah. If we made just this for Thanksgiving, it would be a damn good year.
It'd be a damn good Thanksgiving.
Right on.
That's actually a great way to put it. That's a great bow on top of this. Yes, this would be a fantastic dinner.
Right on. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Do you guys want to drop? I mean, while Twitter still exists for another, like 2.5 hours or whatever.
Yep.
You guys want to drop your Twitter handles real quick, Zo?
I'm at Southside Zo, or you can find me at Pinwheels Ivy Pod.
And Roxy. Oh yeah,
Roxy,
you already got that. you're watching on
Yeah.
the screen.
Shy_rocks, another underscore. Make sure you put that one in there. You can find me writing and pretending sometimes that I know what I'm talking about regarding the
Right on. Perfect. All right, guys. Well, I really appreciate you guys being on. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to head on over to thetaintedglove.com. Check us out. We're throwing up blogs every day. Every day it seems like K-Fids is making a new movie review, and then obviously Yumper will have 300 of them for Christmas, perhaps, like he did for Halloween. He's shaking his head. He's watching us right now. No, he's not going to do it. So again, I'm Brian. You follow me on Twitter at Magnificent Stan. You can also follow the pod at Gettin' Drafty Pod. That's GETTIN, no G, Drafty Pod. And then we also, if you are interested, because Twitter is about to die, I'm going to mention it again. The fire and brimstone of Twitter is showing up right now. You can follow, or you could drop us a message on Twitter, and we'll get you hooked up with the Tainted Glove Discord, so we can all continue to remember each other.
Seems to be where everybody's migrating to.
Yep. But yeah, again, guys, this has been fantastic. This was a blast. I appreciate you guys being on.
Yeah,
Don't be surprised if I ask you guys on many, many more times for other drafts moving forward, because we're going to get crazy with these. So again, thank you, and have a great day, guys.
All right. Thanks for having me, Brian.
See ya.
Buddy, don't wait for me.
All right.